Welcome to today's lesson. We are going to look at time. Time is defined as the measure of duration of an event. It is measured in seconds. The SI unit is seconds and the symbol is small s. We have multiples and some multiples of second. 1 minute is equivalent to 60 seconds. 1 hour is equivalent to 3,600 seconds. 1 day, which is 24 hours, is equivalent to 86,400 seconds. 1 second is equivalent to 100 centisecond. 1 second is equivalent to 1000 millisecond, and 1 second is equivalent to 1 million microseconds. We move to measuring instrument of time. Time can be measured using a stopwatch or a stop clock, and this depends on the accuracy required. Advantages of stopwatch over stop clock. 1. Stopwatch is easy to handle and read than stop clock. Number 2, it is more accurate than stop clock. We have an example. Express the following that is shown on our screen in SI unit. Our screen is this one. Whenever you have a stopwatch, note that this part represents the minutes, then we have the seconds, then we have the centiseconds. So we continue. The minutes, you convert them into seconds. So we have 10 multiplied by 60. Then the second one is already in seconds, you just add. Then the other one, 34, you divide by 100 because 1 millisecond or 1 second is equivalent to 100 centiseconds. So you multiply by 0.01. After that, you add 600 plus 22 plus 0.34, you get 622.34 seconds. Then we have experiment on time. We are using a simple pendulum. This one is a device that is used to determine time intervals, and it will help us to get the time of oscillations. And what is an oscillation? It is a complete to and fro motion. You displace it, it moves up and then it comes back to you. That is when we say that it has completed an oscillation. So we have experiment to determine the time taken to complete given oscillations. We have apparatus, pendulum bob, thread, stopwatch, clamp, boss, and letot stand. Procedure number 1. Set your apparatus as shown. We are going to see it on our next slide. Then number 2, slightly displace the bob and determine the time taken to make 3 oscillations. We have our diagram here. This is our pendulum bob, our thread, our clamp. So we are displacing. As you displace, and then it will move to a certain height like that one, you let it move to and fro. That way you get one complete oscillation. Then you go another one and another one. If you want 3 oscillations, you stop the stopwatch and get that reading. Repeat the procedure for the following number of oscillations and fill the table. Our table is here. We are starting with the 2 oscillations. You get the time. And now to get the time for 1 oscillation, you need to get this time you divide by the number of oscillations. So in our calculations, you have that time for 1 oscillation can be calculated as follows. T, representing the time for 1 oscillation, will be the time of n oscillations divided by n. For instance, if you get that the time taken for 8 oscillations is 20, to get the time for 1, you just need to get 20 divided by 8. That way you are able to get the time for a single oscillation. Then we proceed to assignment. If you look at this as assignment, most of the questions are statement questions where you're supposed to refer to your notes. I would advise you don't go back and recopy. It's always good to evaluate yourself. Get the answers from your head. If you can't remember, it's always good to revise before you attempt the assignment. For the calculations, ensure that you are able to get the correct answers, and the answers will be provided on the notes below the slide or below the video. Thank you, and let us meet on our exam.